So this movie definitely needed to bring the epic. And if you guys are looking to watch this movie in the near future, you might have to put some space in your schedule. Yeah, I should just probably stop now, shouldn't I? Hey there guys, how are you? And welcome back to my Christopher Nolan series on the channel. We are so very close to the theatrical release of Tenet, and we are almost done looking at Nolan's entire filmography in the build-up to that. I have had such a great time looking at all these movies with you guys. But today we're going to be checking out Interstellar, of course directed by Nolan. It stars Matthew McConaughey, Jessica Chastain, Anne Hathaway, Michael Caine, and a bunch of other really famous people that make appearances here and there. This movie is set in the Earth's future, where a global crop blight and second dust bowl are slowly rendering the planet uninhabitable and obsolete. A brilliant NASA physicist, Professor Brand, played by Michael Caine, is working on plans to save mankind by transporting Earth's population to a new home, with what is perhaps the most unorthodox route imaginable: a wormhole. But first, Brand must send former NASA pilot Cooper, played by Matthew McConaughey, and a team of researchers through the wormhole and across the galaxy, just to find out which of 3 planets could be mankind's new home. Now before I continue further in the review, thank you all so much for clicking on the video and stopping by. I hope you all enjoy your stay. If you guys are new here, I need you guys to hit that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. And make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video by the end if you enjoyed it. But here we go! Interstellar. This is probably one of the most polarizing films of the last decade. Some people love this movie. They hail it as probably one of the best space epics ever made, in the same vein as the 2001 A Space Odyssey. Others don't like this movie as much. Even though the movie is 6 years old now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle on this. Now, just for starters, I don't love this movie like a lot of other people do. But that's not to say I don't enjoy Interstellar. I can't help but be fascinated by this movie, actually. Because there's a lot of things about Interstellar that are just so damn good. How about these performances? Starting off with Matthew McConaughey. Now, Matthew McConaughey was just coming off of his Oscar victory for his performance in Dallas Buyers Club. So a lot of people in 2014, myself included, were very fascinated by what his next project was going to be. And sure enough, here he was in a Christopher Nolan flick to build off of the momentum of his Oscar win, and he is fantastic in this movie. This character has tons of emotional range for Matthew McConaughey to tackle, and it didn't even look like he was trying that hard. I saw that person. I didn't see Matthew McConaughey, I saw Cooper. And that's honestly one of the best compliments that an actor can receive. I felt for this guy, and a lot of the emotional beats that this character has involving his daughter. And trust me, I'll be talking a lot more about that once I get to this actress, but this stuff was devastating. Anne Hathaway is also very good in this film, as per usual. She plays one of the astronauts who joins Cooper on his quest, and this character is a very strong, intelligent female presence. I thought she was very convincing, very good in this movie. Of course, it's a Christopher Nolan movie, so Michael Caine's gotta be involved in some capacity, and he was very good in the time he's given. Casey Affleck is in this film as well, and he's excellent as per. But you know who my favorite performance in this movie was? Jessica Chastain as Cooper's daughter, Murph. She was unreal in this movie. In fact, I mentioned earlier that whole relationship between Cooper and his daughter was my favorite part of this movie. The stuff these characters go through, the way they interact with each other, it's heartbreaking. Also, given whose name is on this movie as the director, that should tell you all you need to know about how amazingly directed this movie is. Yeah, Christopher Nolan is really good at his job, can you guys tell? This is also one of Nolan's best looking features. I mean, look at these shots, guys. Look at these effects. There were a few times rewatching this movie where I genuinely wondered, how in the hell did they do that? I mean, I'm sure a lot of this was CGI, but it's some of the most realistic and seamless looking CGI I've ever seen in my life. It's genuinely a beautifully staggering movie to look at. The space stuff, I mean, I don't need to tell you how cool that shit looked. But all this praise does not make Interstellar a flawless movie. There are a few problems with it. And let me tell you what my biggest problem with this movie was. and that's Matt Damon's character. While he is amazing in this role as usual, and it was great to see him in a Nolan flick, in hindsight, his character is only there to provide some conflict between the human characters in this movie. And I feel like this movie would have been a lot more interesting without this addition. Also, the movie on a rewatch can drag sometimes. I noticed there were a couple of points during this very long runtime where I was looking down at my phone, unfortunately. And I don't want to say the movie was boring, because it's not boring, but there were just a lot of times where the storytelling could drag, and it can honestly feel a little bit clunky. And that's especially in terms of the screenplay, which has to be extremely bulky for this runtime. But here's the issue I'm trying to get at here. There were a lot of times where I just wished Interstellar would get to the point. Rewatching this movie, I felt like the movie had a tendency to beat around the bush a lot of the time. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves in life, by the way. And once it finally does get to that meat of the story, once it finally does get to the point, it's awesome. But like I said, the movie does tend to meander a bit, especially in the first act. Now, I get why all of this content is there to better establish the relationships on Earth, but sometimes less is more. Now, think about the run times of some of the other movies I've talked about in this series. Memento barely broke 2 hours. Insomnia barely broke 2 hours. The Prestige, even, 2 hours and 15. And even then, The Prestige felt like a very condensed narrative. Interstellar, on the contrary, runs close to 3 hours. Starting to see where I'm going here? There was a lot of stuff that I don't think really needed to be in this movie. So yeah, Interstellar is not a perfect movie. Not my favorite movie, personally, but I just can't help but admire a lot of the things about this. The performances, the technicals, the direction, the CGI. There's a lot to love about this movie, but there were just a couple of plot issues that I had that really prevented this from making this an instant classic. I'm gonna give Interstellar a B+. In my eyes, this is Nolan's weakest film of his filmography for sure. But again, that's kind of like trying to decide what your least favorite Jolly Rancher flavor is, because they're all excellent. Like I said, definitely a fantastic looking movie. The performances are all phenomenal, but there's also that rewatchability factor that the movie has and those plot elements that I was talking about. But have you guys seen Interstellar? What do you guys think about it? I'd like to know all of your thoughts down in the comments section below. And we are very close to completing the Christopher Nolan series on this channel. Look out next weekend for a double header as I complete the series, with his first film following, along with his most recent film, Dunkirk. Thank you all so much, as always, for tuning into the video. Please remember to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed yourself, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can on your way out. You guys are seriously the greatest. Thank you all so much for your support of the channel so far. Look forward to more fun content very soon. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.